Nigeria is expected to compete at the 2020 Olympic Games commencing in 9 days' time. The Games were originally scheduled to take place between 24th of July and 9th of August 2020, but were postponed to the 23rd of July 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the nation made its debut back in 1952, Nigerian athletes have appeared in every edition of the Olympic Games, with the exception of the 1976 Games in Montreal, Canada, because of the African boycott. Now, the Team Nigeria contingent for the 2020 Olympic Games has departed for Tokyo. How well have been the preparations? What events will the athletes from Nigeria be competing in at the Games? And what are their strengths? And what should Nigerians expect from the team in terms of medals? Well, our guests on this edition of Nigeria Today will be providing answers to these and other questions shortly. Thanks for joining us. I am Dennis Adigunlui. All right, joining me in the studio to discuss Nigeria's participation in the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games is Abdulrahman Ibn Mohammed. He is one of us, former GM Sports 24. He was also former GM NTA International and a sports consultant. Good to have you on the program, sir.
Good to see you this evening, Dennis.
All right. Olympic Games are coming up very soon, less than 2 weeks' time, and Team Nigeria is already in Tokyo. First and foremost, how well prepared do you think the athletes are, given what has happened over the past year or so with COVID and challenges that has posed, as well as their chances for medal haulages come the Games?
Well, it is really difficult to put a finger on saying exactly how well prepared the Nigerian contingent to the Olympics is. You have laid the background, you've laid down the marker. The COVID pandemic has, put a spanner in the works of practically all the sporting federations in Nigeria, and of course, generally in all fields of human endeavors. The impact of COVID-19 has been felt and is still being felt. Be that as it may, the sports ministry under the leadership of Chief Sunday Dare, I think has, along with the sporting federations that are sending teams to the Olympics, done their level best under the circumstances. Given the circumstances, they have done their level best. And some of them, I think, maybe it is because sometimes it is said that Nigerians usually come out with their best when they are put under pressure with their backs to the wall. I think some of the federation presidents, as if to give, the truth to this assumption, have really, taken the rabbit out of the hat, so to speak. They have done extremely well, and there is palpable hope that in one or two disciplines, something good would come out. But having said that, I think we need to lay down the marker. How many sports is Nigeria going to take part in? How many athletes are we sending? The days of jamborees appear to have come and gone for good. Number one, we have spoken about the pandemic having, limited the capacity and the width of preparations for a lot of the sporting federations. But that apart, I think the paucity of funds and the coming to realization by the federations that no longer is it time for jamborees, it is time for serious business. I think it has made it it has forced the authorities to come up with actionable plans. It's not that you are going to take people to go and get experience. The time to gain experience is over. Now it's just to go and seriously compete. But of course, some of the athletes are just going there to have a feel. But I think there is satisfaction in the sporting world that yes, the sports ministry and the federations concerned have done their level best. Having said that, Nigeria is going to be presenting a team of 52 athletes who will be competing in 9 different sports. This is a far cry from the time that Nigeria will be competing in almost 15 or 16 sports. And by the first 2-3 days of the Olympics, everybody has been knocked out, and the jamboree continues. The teams would not come back home. Of course, they will be paid their contingencies, they will be paid their allowances, and over and above that, apart from the athletes themselves, of course, the various federations would, heap on their officials, people that are not technically connected to the games, people that, just for mere patronages, political patronages, or whatever you get. Sometimes it has happened in the past that the number of officials from Nigeria sometimes outnumbered even the participants. But this, on a happier note, is not the case. So we're sending 52 athletes who will participate in 9 sports. And time permitting, we'll have a breakdown.
All right. Okay, Mr. Vice President, just recently had interactions with the athletes prior to their departure for Tokyo. He had some words of advice and encouragement for them in terms of their conduct. And we all know about the Olympic ethos based on friendship, fair play, and mutual understanding and respect. Just give us your thoughts on Mr. Vice President's comments with
the Vice President's admonition to the team when he spoke to them on behalf of the President, I guess, it's not off what he normally would do. As a gentleman Vice President, he admonished them that they must first and foremost protect the integrity of Nigeria. Nobody should be found wanting in terms of dabbling into drugs and so on and so forth. Nobody should go and indulge in any unseemly activity that would bring down the image of the country. They should go and participate in the Olympics with the ethos of the Olympics of participation, fairness, and brotherliness. These are the objectives of the Olympics: to enhance brotherliness, to enhance competition, to give the athletes the opportunity to excel, to push to the limits, and while doing that, they represent their nations, of course, excel and establish friendship. That is, in effect, is what the Vice President told the athletes. And I think it is well taken, because the sports minister also reiterated that, as well as Alhaji Abu Gumel, the IOC member who is Nigeria's National Olympic Committee president.
All right. We all know about what has been happening in the world of football with the just concluded leagues around Europe and the world, and also Euro 2020 that has just concluded. Crowd participation. From my understanding, there's going to be very limited, if at all, any crowd spectators in the Olympic Stadium. What impact do you think this is going to have on the athletes in terms of the energy levels and also interest generated on the part of the public worldwide?
Well, as someone who has throd on a football field, done 1 or 2 athletics events, I can tell you the effect of the crowd on the athlete is usually tremendous. It does help to raise, someone's capacity and so on. It pushes the athlete. It's not going to be there. But scientists and sports managers and incidentally, even the president of the International Olympic Committee, IOC, Thomas Bach, has been put on record as saying that even without the crowds, the athletes that usually qualify to go to the Olympics are usually at the peak of a selection of the best of the very best. So it is expected that performance would not be unduly affected, would not be negatively affected. All the people who are supposed to break records will be seen to be doing so, and it is for good reason, because the IOC, I believe, part of the objective of pushing for this event to be held in Japan, in spite of stringent objections from certain quarters, even within Japan itself, is such that the 4-yearly break for the Olympics shouldn't be broken. It has already happened once, and if that series doesn't take place this year, probably it's not going to take place. And in the history of the Olympics were not held only for reasons of war. during the First World War, during the Second World War. These were only the years that the Olympics, so to speak, were jumped over. And this seemingly are times of peace. But some very cautious people would say that the way the pandemic is, dealing with countries all over the world is akin to some sort of war. But Thomas Bach and the IOC, supported by a lot of national Olympic committees, think that it is imperative that the games are held. Because, come to think of it, in certain places, some seeming normalcy is being restored. We've just seen the end of the Euros. We've seen that in the finals, Wembley was, bustling to the seams. And perhaps in those countries, they had taken assurance that nearly everybody who got into the stadium had been, vaccinated, and so on and so forth. So the long and short of it is that, yes, the lack of crowd may or may not. Experts seem to think it will not, the effect will not be too much. Anyone who was trained to that level, the supremacy of the physique of a top athlete would normally come to the fore when he or she sees competition.
Definitely. All right, coming back to the athletes, you say there's 52 going into the games with 9 different events. What should we, or who should we be looking out for, and what are the expectations realistically? Well,
let me mark out the events first. Nigeria is going to be sending teams for athletics, that is running, jumping. There will be 12 participants there, 5 males and 7 females. In badminton, there will be 2 males and 1 female. Basketball, the Tigers and the Tigresses are going to be there. Each team is going to have a roster of 12 players, so there will be 24 players for the basketball, 12 for the men, 12 for the females. Others are canoeing with 1, gymnastics with 1, rowing with 1, table tennis, there are going to be 4, taekwondo, there is going to be 1, wrestling is going to be 5. All in all, it's going to be 52 participants. Okay. But as you talk of realistically, what are our hopes? I have had people who should know from the trials, the athletics trials that were held at the Yaba College of Technology by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria under the supervision of the Ministry of Sports. I've had people who have seen what happened there, past gold medalists for Nigeria, say that the athletics team that we have is capable of winning a good number of medals. Could be bronze, could be silver, with some bit of luck, some gold. 2 people were marked out. Incidentally, they are all ladies. Okay. The ladies are Ese Brume, the high jumper, and she's been having a good role, and she's ranked currently, I think, 7th best in the world.
That's high jump.
Yep, not high jump, long jump. Sorry, long jump. And then the other one is the hurdler, 100 meters hurdler, Toby Amusan. The 2 of them have been running world-class times, jumping world-class. And of course, we cannot rule out Blessing Okagbare, who during that trials, ran a time that some of us had, gleefully thought was going to stand. She ran 10.63. If that had stood, that would have been the 2nd, best ever time returned by a female. Wow. 2nd only to the 10.49 by the late Jackie Joyner Kersey of the United States. Wow. Unfortunately, the timing in terms of the wind strength behind her wasn't calibrated properly. The World Athletics, former IAAF, didn't want to accept that because it was thought that the wind aided her. But we cannot rule out Blessing Okagbare. My only fear for Blessing is that she's been running in the circuit, the Diamond, Wonder Diamond League, and even though they win some bit of cash for themselves, one fears that Blessing might get, burnt out before the big deal. But with some bit of luck, she's going to hang in there. So these 3 ladies, with some bit of luck, should be able to
shine.
Yes. And of course, the other one that Nigerians will be looking forward to in terms of at least is the wrestlers.
The wrestlers. All right, if you just hold your thoughts on those for a moment, we have to take a break. The program will continue shortly. You're on to Nigeria Today. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Right, you're welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today. If you're just tuning in, we are discussing the 2020 Olympic Games coming up in a week or so, and Nigeria's participation in it. We have our guest in the studio, Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed, former GM Sports at the NTA, as also former GM NTA International, and he's also a sports consultant. Before I interjected you there earlier, you were talking about wrestlers. Just
yes,
continue.
the wrestlers, specifically the female wrestlers. At least one or two of them have a global ranking. Adekuroye is ranked among the 3 best wrestlers in her category. Okay. And in fact, she's been African champion, and at the World Championship, she's been known to have done very well. Okay. It is expected that she's leading others who would put a stake. And it will come as no surprise if she ends up on the podium. But something of note, which I can't say that this one will end up with a medal, because that will probably be far-fetched, but there is certain Funke Oshonaike in table tennis. By the time she gets to the Olympics, she will have gone into the record books as one of the few people in the world who have been to the Olympics a record 7 times.
7 times?
Yeah.
Wow.
Funke Oshonaike, a Nigerian table tennis player. She has served this country meritoriously. She plays professional table tennis in Germany now. She's in the Nigerian team, and she is going to really be up for the records. She's going to join a compatriot who has already reached that milestone. Segun Toriola was also at the Olympics for the 7th time at Rio. I was there when he marked that milestone, and it was a thing of joy for a lot of us Nigerians. So his sister, our sister, Funke, is going to join him. It's far-fetched to say either Segun Toriola or Funke would win a medal, but the leader of the team in terms of world ranking, Haruna Kadri, who is has been African number 1, African number 2. It has been a shuttling job between him and his Egyptian opponent. Haruna Kadri has an outside chance of getting to the podium. But this is in realistic terms. The gymnasts, the canoeists, the taekwondo people going there, the authorities must have really seen what potential they have to take them there. So it's not only a hopeless exercise. They have the capacity and the potential. So it is the potential that has been seen that they are taking there. Those people are going to gain experience, and it's so that it can be built upon. And of course, the basketballers.
I wanted to talk to you about that. The result recently, they beat their USA counterparts. How much are you reading into that victory, given that they were friendly and we're getting into serious business now? I
don't want to read too much into that. The Americans, arguably the best basketball nation in the world, the world ranked number 1. The Tigers beat them. I think the Tigers surprised them. Subsequently, the Tigers also won another match against another high-flying team. But the team that should concern the Tigers, the Australians, who are in the same Group B with the Tigers, they played last night. And the Tigers were brought down to earth. They were beaten, properly beaten, 103 to, I think, 69 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
That should tell you something. If the 2 previous victories have gone into the heads of the Tigers or supporters of Nigerian basketball, now some reality check has set in. This is in no way meaning that the Tigers are losing out. The 2 victories, even though in friendly matches, shows that the Tigers have the capacity to, fight it out.
Yeah.
They'll go there and fight it out. And people who do sports know that, in sports, a lot of factors go in before somebody is pronounced a winner. You've got to have the capacity, the ability, the endurance, and the luck comes in. We've seen what happens at the Euros.
Yeah.
Spain did all the playing, and only for Italy to come and take it.
Yeah.
England appeared to have the upper hand before the Italians again took it. So we are hoping that the Tigers would have learnt that, yes, come on, we have not yet arrived. The Australians have given us a reality check.
Yep.
We are going to face them in the real task during the Group B matches. And some people have wondered, it is not right for you to play an opponent that you play in a real competition. But I am on the side of those who say, no, it doesn't matter, because you're only trying out yourselves.
Yeah.
Now, we know, our coaches know, our players know, when they face the Australians in real time, what errors were made and what errors need to be corrected. And for the ladies, they go in there as reigning African champions, just like their male counterparts. They may not have the same pedigree as the men have, because obviously when they last played the United States beat the Nigerian girls.
Yeah.
So the ladies will not have any airs on them. But we do hope, we expect that they are going to give a very good account of themselves. The only disturbing thing that a number of people have been, bringing up is that the contingents, for instance, the Tigers are composed of entirely foreign-based Nigerian players.
Right.
And US-based, some of them, most of them, there isn't anybody from the local Nigerian league.
How do you feel about that?
That is cause for concern. That's almost about the same thing that plays out in the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
Even though in the Super Eagles they are trying to get some people in there, but you see, it shows the quality of what we have at home. If the Nigerian is going to be subjected to the same conditions that they get when they go to they reside in the US or in the UK, their performance rises. Yeah. Their capacity rises, their ability further improves. So it calls for a wholesale thinking out of our sporting infrastructure, about their conditions, about how we manage our sportsmen and women. Because if they can do it when they're there, what stops them from doing it here?
Absolutely, definitely. All right, our time is up. I'm being told by our director, but we'd like to definitely appreciate you, Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed, former GM NTA Sports and GM NTA International, and sports consultant. Thanks very much for giving us your insight and expertise on the forthcoming Olympic Games, and we certainly hope Nigeria performs creditably well at the Games and gets us some medals. Thank you very much, sir.
I saw amen. Thank you very much, Dennis. Good to be here.
You're welcome, sir. And thanks to you out there for watching. Nigeria Today is live every weekday at 7:30 in the evening. You can also catch this and other editions of the program on youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Dennis Adigboye. Thanks for your company.